waxyaabo badan bay naga ilaaliyeen. They protected us from a lot. We've lost a lot of people. Dad badan baan lose gareynay over time. I see the title, the SNM defeated a military junta. The SNM in their period, they did free us. They freed us from shayateen and devils. Prior to that, though, there was the camel corpse. There was the scouts. Prior to that, our men. If you look at it from time and time again, we're not Iranian. They protected us, and their number one Iranian moral benefit, their women and children. That was their priority for them, was their women and their children. Historically, in Amarak, nation had the position that we're in today, honestly stems from that. It stems from us. يعني وان ضيعنا واحد وان ضيعنا. هذا Edna earlier was saying, do they give money to people, to writers and journalists يدبين التاريخ ده يحبوه كالقرآن? No, they don't. ما هو أكبر تاريخ ده يحلق القرآن. That in itself is a problem. عادو ونفتي جيسة. He knows exactly تاريخ ده. سفة عم بوكلا بار to the point that he had gotten jealous, to the point that hatred, hate بأبي كوهين, to the point where they want everything that is yours. أدونا Alhamdulillah, إلهي هو اللي سكوها الله all the time. But at the same time, you have to do your part. هذا مريم عليه السلام ممكن إلهي يهزي بنها بجذع النخلة تساقط عليك رطبا جنيا. Is do the effort. She cannot shake it. It's the point of you have to put your effort into it. That's what our men used to do. That's what our women used to do. And they used to put their effort into we have one big problem that we never used to have back in the day. Let's just be honest about that. The Isaaq that live in Somaliland, really go to Islam, really go to Arabia, they used to come together. And even in Greece, that's kind of a one unit. They tried everything in Greece. We left to go to all this separation, all this. We'll give you your own. A treaty with you. Tolchala treaty with you. And they tried their best. Earlier, there was a question that was asked, like in 1884. That was the same time. Scramble for Africa. I said, did a scramble happen to us? A scramble never happened to us. We had done already treaties and we formed what was called Somaliland. I hope a lot of you know this Ado has attacked you time and time again. We're talking today, October 21st, and this can't be us. You see, Siad Barre was one of the Banda soldiers that came to Somaliland. The camel corps are the ones that stayed back fighting. In Greece, what did they do? They took our people out of there. Don't be silent. I don't be gay. Why? More than 340,000 was at the mercy of the tribes that was with the Italians. And imagine that. Prior to the Mad Mullah, it was the same thing. The same tribes that came to attack you. Now, it's the same tribes that are coming to attack you. A lot of diversions, a lot of things. Our heroes, every country in the world, they have a special place for their heroes, a special place for the people. Or they instill it in the children. The children grow up to protect Pakistan. We have not done that. Right now, at this time, 2023, technology the fake history everything that is yours is taken. Is something called Somali Nimo, one Somali this, one Somali that. Something that doesn't even matter. I really don't care about the Somali Nimo. Why don't you care about your own history? It makes you what you are. And the other day, Recently I found some cassettes. I received some of the cassettes. I don't know anything to measure how much time that you guys kind of have. If you don't mind, I would like to play a little bit that this one colonel hadlaya dadkayga, and the way he even, when it's mentioned, about our women, the way he describes them, the way he talks about them, the way he talks about our men, it's like you compare it to right now, arkisa, our own people fighting amongst each other. There is a other. Instead of uniting, they're fighting against each other. They cut again what they were. The SNM were not like that. And what happened now? Sometimes I feel like, is the whole population under the influence or something? Regardless of يعني هذا waxaa arkaysaa dadkayga, yes, Falastiin waxun baa ka jira, waxyaaba waxun baa ka kala dhacaya. But if you look back into history, the same Jews ka sidan oo kale u galaya were the first refugees kila keenay xagaa la keenay. The Italian East Africa was not something that was just iska socotay. Some powers are actually supporting this Italian East Africa because that's where they were relocating many of the Jews. A lot of Jews were here. Dhinaca meesha la yiraahdo Harargi, dhinaca Ethiopia, meesha la yiraahdo Baida or something like that, and dhinaca Somalia, Italiana. The first batch was already there. First batch of Jews that were Zionists that were supposed to settle over there. They wanted to do South Africa. We have no idea about that. None of us know any of that. But can you imagine these Zionists living over there? Even when they came, Somaliland, it was Ethiopia, and it was then Somalia Italian. Mussolini was the guy behind it as well. Marka, if you guys don't mind, I would like to play a little something. It's not going to be long. I'll cut it off. It's just a little cassette tape. Marka, if that's okay with you, Edna.
I think even Somaliland, Yahuda they didn't care. Somaliland is at the Kadagalame. I'm trying to find this document.
I'll search for it. You heard about the Mahala, if I'm pronouncing it right, the Capuchins. I think you.
Yes, well, Francis.
Yes. Who brought them? Capuchin. Who was trying to bring them?
The Oromia came out then. Waxay ahayd dad aad u yar saylac ay ka saareen
27 of the soldiers kii la socday oo ilaalinaya waxay ahaayeen from the Gadibursi tribe, and Isa are the ones that attacked them and killed many of them. Marka, let me just play this little tape so I don't have to get out of it.
Laakiin they were insignificant. Waa kuwii so French Capuchin saylac ay ka saareen, may ku guulaysanin, dardaray u soo guureen, kamay guulaysanin. This is very important history inaad eegtaan. Mad Miller uu soo gali doona sheekadan. Marka waan ka sheekeyn doonaa French Capuchin, very critical history. Ku soco Burgab.
There's so much parts in history, wallahi. There's so much parts. I laugh when they call us Gara, because the number ones that brought all kind of galos together against us was them. Whether it was the Austrians, Hungarians, Germans, Italians, it was all them. They brought everybody. Like I said earlier, we always used to do our best, and we always succeeded. We always won. Now it's greed. Money that would do them nothing. And oil, the first discovery of oil was 1914, and the quality was so high. People didn't care about the oil. They cared about their own hair code. That's all they cared about. Detour. They protected what's called Somaliland. That a lot of people act like it's nothing. Which does not even make sense. It's a laughable matter.
So here we go. Going back to the troops themselves,
Were the troops smart? Did they like their uniform, or were they slovenly, or what?
They were very smart. The Somali is rather vain. I think very vain. And he likes dressing himself up, and once he got the concept of military smartness, and perhaps a red sash for a sergeant, and the yellow badges on his uniform, and they kept the puggaries very clean and smartly put on. Oh yes, they like dressing up, and they seem to pick up the idea of the military smartness. It was rather astonishing that they did, because they've nothing comparable with it in their own tribal lives.
What did their uniform consist of?
Well, it was a bit like the Indian Army in some way, a puggaree that was wound round the head very smartly, to a rather peculiar shape, but very impressive looking, and a little collar thing underneath that just stuck through, very much like some of the Indian regiments. And then a smart, tightly fitting jersey with, say, Somaliland Camel Corps on the shoulders, and then a cummerbund, a khaki cummerbund with a red sash, and a belt and a bayonet, and then shorts, blue patches, and sandals. And on a smart man, a well-built man, and most of them were, this uniform looked very smart indeed. I brought two to London once for the coronation. At least I found them in London, in Hyde Park, in the camp. And they caused a big stir when I went. My wife and I took them round London. People said, but they're very smart-looking men, these, and so clean-looking. I took them to tea at one of the big London hotels and sat there with my wife. And my wife was an artist. She was painting, drawing one of them, so I had to get him round rather often. And we had tea, and the waiter brought everything, and they were too polite to say that they didn't like anything at all that they could see. But when I offered them food, they said, well, no, I don't think we'll eat now because we brought our food from Somaliland.
What colour were the puggaries and collars?
Khaki colour, a light khaki, very light khaki.
And you said earlier that many of the troops had wives. Were they all married, or just a proportion of them?
Oh, I think nearly all were married. I was not married, and the Somalis could not understand that. They used to tackle me sometimes and say, why aren't you married? You're very fit, you've got some money, and you look all right. Why aren't you married? They couldn't understand that we would go on with in our bachelorhood.
Did they press you to take a Somali wife, or did they expect you to marry within your own race?
It would be dangerous to think in terms of the Somali girls. Some of them are very attractive, very, very pretty. Long arms, very stately girls, some of them, but they would hide their faces if they saw a European coming near the encampments. And but if you met them alone sometimes in the jungle, out in the bush, when they were looking after sheep or camels sometimes, men mainly looked after the camels, you would see how attractive they were, and they might smile to you if they got to know you, if you were camped around there some little time. But the Somali, it would be dangerous to show any interest in women folk. The Somalis wouldn't like it. They would take it out of the girl in all probability. They might even kill her.
Even if she was an unmarried girl?
Oh, yes, yes. One of the big riots in Hargeisa, which I took place, was because a girl had, which was unusual for Somalis in a way, had fallen in love with a man in another tribe and had gone off with him. We had a big riot there. The Calico was called out. I was in command of Seacup at the time, and it all happened so quickly. We managed to quell all this in a few hours. And the government was very pleased with what we did because we inflicted no casualties on the tribal people. Some years afterwards, they had similar trouble between these two tribes, and the police, with respect to them, tried to deal with the matter then, and there were heavy casualties. They killed about 40 people or something like that. But yes, there could be trouble with marriage customs and intertribal relationships.
Can you recollect which year it was when you quelled this particular riot, approximately?
Edna, I give the mic back to you. Are you still there, Edna? Or Nooreen هذا كنت Nooreen. I give the mic back to you guys for a bit.
Sorry, Waralo. I was writing something. Sorry.
I could continue it if you guys were enjoying
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
listening to it.
Burda, no sheeg summary-gaas. So now tell us maxaan kala soo baxnaa.
Well, basically, I just want to show how our people, our men and our women at that time, adhered mostly to their own customs and never intermingled with anybody else. Big trade and business, you house done عادي way, and it wasn't a big problem to them. Like in the subversion, كهذا كسعدد measure how our people لقد دعنا what they are not. This is one of the things that I cannot comprehend. They give you an identity that's not yours, and you're willing to just take it. Identity guy, you're easy to give it up. When they keep repeating these words, Somalia, they want to make you one in a cardigan, but you will never won. And عاداتك تقاليدك customs has never been the same, and it was never the same. There are countries that neighbor each other. They neighbor each other. But they don't have the same culture. They don't have the same adat. They don't have no same taqareed. And if someone tries to impose that on them, they don't take it. My thing is that some of these historical things, what I see now and before, it's totally a big change. It's a huge change. And unless we can reconcile with that, unless we have a big change that happens, change when or dina that's I feel that we're headed to the wrong direction. Literally headed to the wrong direction, especially the last 2 years of the a lot of things a lot of I've never seen. I understand that waxaa lagu talagalay inay gaajoodaan, waxaa lagu talagalay inaanay haysanin any type of health system. Our people are prison ayay laftigooda ku jiraan, economic prison ayay literally ku jiraan, health prison ayay ku jiraan, any way to advance themselves prison ayay ku jiraan. Why? Everybody that has a mind is living outside the country. What do the people? We have a lot of youth. What is needed to make the change? In the I would see دولة هذا مريكا كأركسا Democrats هستان Republicans هستان Independents هستان Independent هستان. Like when it comes to the security of the country, they unite. What is wrong with us? That when it comes to the security of our own country, when it comes to the advancement of our own country, we don't care. Like if they spark just a little something, I'm a video ever so sad, I'm a tweet here and so we are the ones that are quick to spread their message all around. We don't look, and for them, it's if they do one thing and it works, they continue doing it because there's nothing that stands in their way, nothing at all. They continue doing what they want to do. They push their narrative. When there is one idea with school with the Imadan, while we are busy with each other, constantly bickering with each other, constantly against one another. We come from the same. And we you know what I'm talking about. Like we're bickering and fighting with each other, while the enemy does whatever they want to do. What does that tell you, Edna or Noreen or anybody's in it? What does that tell you? Does it not tell you that we have a big gap in who we are? Identity. There's a huge gap in it.
waxaan ku dilayaaba waxaan waxaan ahaan jirnay waxyaabaha inka waxa dhacaya amba waxa la rabo in laga masaxo horta waxyaabada inay ku guuleysteen laakiin wali waa laga daba socda waa meerid lahayd taariikhda
والله sometimes anigu taariikhda barbar waa ka daala hadda waxaan arkaa maxamed cabdisamad oo meesha ku jira. I just want to know runtii how is it that no matter what ka dhaca dalkayaga, how is the shacab still so calm? How are they not holding dadkii elect gareeyeen oo meesha kala geeyeen accountable? Nobody is being held accountable. No anger, no people out. And that's one of the things that really shocks me. It shocks me to my core because to receive answers from these people, to receive answers from the people have to demand it. But if the people are not demanding it, then they'll continue doing what they want to do. So that's where I love talking about history. I love talking, but right now at this moment we have a lot of pressing issues because when you think about it, nations that have issues don't have an open shut case like we do. Yet we're still sitting there, even though our case, it's a slam dunk, like a lot of people say. You just need to take your case to court. You need to hold all of these people accountable. Weapons, funding that came from the Western world, especially from Morocco. Mines that came from 4 different countries. Nobody paid the price. And on top of it, for the past 32 years, they're still pushing a one Somalia policy because they have a lot of things to hide. Why is it that our people cannot demand the government to take their case to court? It's an open shut case. Not a single nation has that. Not one nation. Little distractions. Oh, Ethiopia say now. Oh, Ethiopia this. Ethiopia has a rightful claim to Benadir. Don't let them distract you. They have a rightful claim to Benadir. It's all the way there. It's part of their kingdom. It was always part. There's a reason why these borders are not demarcated. But we are just busy with whatever distractions that they throw our way, while our only focus should be take our case to court. So isn't the population or dadka Somaliland jooga, like my brother Muhammad Abdisamad, supposed to be gathering people together? Maybe a big microphone in the middle of the magaalooyinka dhexdooda with a big microphone, talking to people, waking these people up. I guarantee you these people wake up, take their case to court. Within 2-3 years, we'll be on the right track. Within 10 years, we'll be the richest country in the world. We need movement, and we need movement ASAP. Generation after generation to be born and living outside, learning different cultures, learning different languages. 32 years. Right now, we should have Somalilanders speaking all kinds of languages in the world. And I guarantee you we have Somalilanders that speak all kinds of languages. We should be planning to go back to our rightful place, Somaliland, as one. All of us, just like these Jews went back. They did what they had to do. So we need to, as people or Somalilanders, we need to get back together. We need, even if it has to be, go back in mass numbers. We need to unite with the youth or the ones that need help. We need to help them. We need to show them the path. Yes. Do you want to continue to struggle like this for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years, for another 32 years? If the answer is no, then you need to hold these people that keep this is how they're getting their salaries. Each single one of them setting up their life plan outside Somaliland. These people need to be held accountable. We need to help the ones that are for Somaliland take positions in Somaliland so the change could happen. Our youth need to hold their elected officials accountable, need to take the case to court. Subversion needs to stop. If there's a museum that's going to be open, it has to be the true history of Somaliland. It can't be wishy-washy. لغما أران كارو تاريخ ده أسلمت تدبع كحناقصنا ماشي المصر ديجي كارو. لكن تاريخ الدراويش تماشي وان ديجنا no problem. We're gonna show you the history of the Darawish. We're gonna make them like they're the ones that saved you. Isaaq, they saved you, knowing damn well that we are the one that saved them. Time and time again. وعنك. All the tribes get together in the end. Isaaq was fighting all the time, and in the end, all of them got together to defeat the Mad Mullah. So we need a big change, inshallah, for our country to go the right way. And that's just my message. My message is that they need to wake up. That's the only way a change is going to happen. Whatever that's going on. Eritrea is fighting because it's like, no, this is our borders. How was these borders created? It was created during the colonial times. So why is your borders legit? Why is the borders of Uganda legit? Why is the borders of Kenya legit? Why is Somaliland not legit? You see, their security guard, Eritrea, they have no factions. They all come together as one. But why is it when it comes to the security of Somaliland, we are divided? Easy to be divided. Entertaining your people that are enemies to our own country. We entertain them. We go into their spaces, this, that. How many Somalilanders are Manta Araktana Kuchera, Mesha Kaan? And those are the ones that benefited from the Kaan time, telling stories about their Kaan days. How they went to this school, how they went this, and how they did that. Majority of Somalilanders want Somaliland. So few doesn't represent the rest of Somaliland. However, we need to be more vocal. Democracy, this democracy, that, the whole foreign countries would tell you that Somalilanders have always been democratic. They always voice their opinion. They always sit down and talk under a tree. They have their discussions very democratically. In Greece, we stole a lot of laws from them and we incorporated it into our own system. Like Manta, which is the bail bonds. Where did they steal that from? They got that from us. Very bad. He got into an issue. Our elders went and said, we're going to give you this much camels up until his appointed day for court. The man never showed up for court. He never came that day. He's under the protection of his tribe. Nothing can be done. They took that system and incorporated it into Ingriska, and from Ingriska it went to the rest of the world, and it's called bail bonds. All these mothers that Aruta the wrong place, wrong time, that gets released on bail. That came from our, they should say thank you to us. Like, do we speak about it? Do we talk about our history? Do we let the world know? Do we add it into our curriculum, educational system? No. We don't do any of that. So we end up in this position that we're in today because we choose to remain silent while others choose to remain vocal. Maka, we need to take, the only thing we could do now is take our case to court. How do we take our case to court? We need to push our government officials. How do we push our government officials? We need to get the people to wake up. The people need to wake up. They need to know their rights and they need to fight for it. That's the only way Somaliland can succeed and move and be ahead of every single country in this world. Egypt don't want you to succeed. Not a single Arab nation, Arab Saudis, they don't want you to succeed. Your oil comes out, it's a higher quality. Their money goes down. You succeed, you make deals with other countries, now the Suez Canal and Egypt feels like they're threatened. I'll give the mic back to you, Nuri.
Thank you. أنا صحة لسانك. الله يعطيك عافية. waxaa jirta mataqaana wallahi ma aqaano wax la yidhaahdo marmarka qaarkood dadka markaad aragtid oo kale shacabka in badan wax badan baa jirta iska masaakiin oo garanaysaa oo iska aaminsan dadka meesha jooga intii wax akhriyeysay waad iska arkaysaa ma aqaan wallahi marmarka qaarkood ma aqaan waxaan idhaahdo waayo markaad adigu khatarka dareensan tahay ee darkaysid dib badan baa soo socota maalin walba maalin kasii xun baan usii soconaa aad arkaysid cid kusoo jeedaana ma jirto wallahi waa dhibaato weyn inta kale waxaa jirta dadka waxaan garanaya xoog inay u fahmaan ahaa ee dadka liidar u noqon lahaa waxa weeyaan siyaasiyiintiina ma noqonayaan ma hadlayaan faysal baa yara hadlo oo faysalman dad badan siduu usoo kaxaysta ma yaqaano markaaba aqaano wallahi dadkan say ku kacayaan amba siday wax ku gaarayaan inta badan waxyaabahan waxay ka bilaabataa jaamacadaha kale laakiin dadkeena niga imka markaad eegtid jaamacadaha kale ka baxay waxyaabaha ma ujeedaanba noloshooda iska nool yihiin wallahi lamala kulliga ilaahay ba joogaba ila tahay markiin
walaalo laakiin waa lagu talagalay ma ogtahay marka la yidhaahdo noloshoodii baa adag they're living in a tough life, hard life. They really talagalan. These governmental people, adogaagu, they really talagalan for the people to live in this type of lifestyle. Where the electricity is high, where the food is imported, where this and that. Education system called all of this was pre-planned. Just like Hitler planned his thing for 25 years. Before he all of this is pre-planned and all of this is for a reason, but for our people went through worse. So our people need to know if I say something and position kick under the wick, so why should I lose this money that I'm getting? Why should I lose it, Bukwari? And on top of it, for me to say whatever I want to say. Easy. I'll give him this much, hundreds of thousands of dollars, do this and do that. Now you look at it and see how many MPs have bought houses outside of Somaliland, that have a life outside of Somaliland and continually building a life outside Somaliland. These people don't care about Somaliland. Not one opposition that speaks loud. Not one. More than 28,000 أي ماشي في الدنيا. هذا وح الله لو حنقول دعاء عنك. Everything that's had happened for the past year. How many ambassadors of Somaliland or Choga, Western world, Arab world Choga have spoken? Getting all of these thousands of money monthly.